Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the One on One Talk Show. I am your host, Bernard Chachu Onyame, and with me is Pastor Kusi Appiah. Pastor, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
In fact, today we are going to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And this conversation is going to be geared towards your achievements in life, the things you did wrong, the wrong choices you made in life, and also the good ones you made in life. And all these things are going to complement with the students in order to make good decisions as we journey through our education. And so, Pastor, you are welcome to Valley View University.
Thank you very much.
It is a pleasure hosting you on our show.
It's a
Today,
pleasure.
your message was timely. How did you do it?
That's a question that's difficult to answer.
Yeah.
I pray and reflect.
Okay.
That's what I say I do. When I have to speak to people, I pray over it and I ask God, what should I say? There are lots of things a person could say, but then what is timely? What should these people hear? So apart from doing the usual thing of trying to understand the audience, you pray to God, you reflect. So basically, that's what I would say.
I think it's a very nice thing to do, and then we, the audience, have to emulate such a character. Yeah. Prayer and determination makes it all. That is what Pastor is trying to put across. Pastor, would you love to tell us a little much more about yourself? How did you begin life? How was life in its full entirety?
Well, I would say I'm the second born of 4 siblings.
Okay.
I don't come from a rich home. I'm from a noble background, I would say. I spent my formative years, my parents went to live at Wenchi in the Brungafu region. Right. So I spent my formative years there. I had a normal life just like any other person. Growing up, going to school, moving from one school to the other. When my parents have to move, we have to move as well. So life was pretty much normal and ordinary, I would say.
Yes, but looking at you from the way you speak today, it looks as if you've not gone through the normal life we the students are going through. Any student that may see you today will think that you had it all soft. What would you love to talk to the student about this?
I think that we all have challenges in life.
Yeah.
We are all faced with similar challenges.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm not from a rich background. I've worked with a corn mill before.
Okay.
You know, I've sold all manner of things before.
Really?
So, yeah, from a very noble background
okay.
that I believe that every other person can identify with it. Then the normal African child can identify with.
I understand.
Yes, I've been through all that.
I understand.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, you see, for some time now, you've been here on Valley View University campus. I should say some of the students knows you, some may not. I should put it that way. Looking at you, a very young gentleman, and you walk all alone here on campus. Pastor, are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
Really? Can you tell us about your marital life?
Yes, I'm married. I've been married for the past 7 years.
7 good years?
Yes, I've been married for the past 7.
It's looking good on you, Pastor.
8 years.
It's really looking good on you. Yeah.
So I'm a family man. Okay. I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The boy is the firstborn. He's 6 years now. Ohineba Yurinchi Kusi Appiah. And the girl, secondborn.
Okay.
She is 5 years old. And I say, don't ask me why one is 5 and one is 6. And she's Ohinewa Asantewa Kusi Appiah. Okay. So yeah, I have two kids and a wife.
Okay, that is very beautiful.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier on, it is looking very beautiful on you. It is really reflecting. Yeah. Yes, Pastor, how is education like? For some of us who come from the remote areas, we think education is quite weird until we make it in life. But from the background you just gave out, we could see that you sold so many things that maybe you wouldn't love to mention. But how is your education like? How did you start your education? Was it tedious? How did you finance your education and all that?
Yeah, so I began from kindergarten as anybody would. I would say that one of the challenges that growing up and reflecting I find is that usually growing up where a good number of us grow from, um, we don't get to know ourselves and the importance of education. You know, the importance of education early enough.
Yeah.
You know, and therefore a number of us are not driven to learn and to look for knowledge, which I believe that is what education is about, being nurtured by the information that you receive. So I think that looking back, a number of us do not have that. Those who have that at a younger age are able to do much, much better. I wouldn't say that I had um, the knowledge of the importance of education at a very early age.
Okay.
I went through school normally. I can say that even up to when I completed first degree, you know, here at Valley View, I just went through.
So you're a product of Valley
Yes,
View.
I'm a product of Valley
We'll delve
View.
into that.
Yes. Even up to when I completed university, it was I didn't really have that thing about education, the true importance of education. So usually I tell people that maybe I learned more after about a year after university, more than I did during the 4 years of university education. Because after about a year after education, there are friends I met, connections I made, that opened my eyes, you know, more to the importance of growing yourself, building yourself, and therefore I did a lot. So I went through school just like any other person would. I went through the stages as we have it, the grades of education, just as anybody would. But I would say that when my mind was tuned to see more clearly the importance of education, the importance of exposure, the importance of developing yourself, the importance of ascertaining your purpose in life, and the importance of creating yourself into that tool to accomplish that particular task. I would say that did a lot to my life from that time onwards.
Okay. So you rightly mentioned you were once a product of Valley View University.
Yes.
Of which I'm grateful for that. Someone seeing you out there will understand that Valley View University is not just any other institution, it's an institution that nurtures people to go and come back and give back to the society. Pastor, way back, when did you complete?
So I completed in 2010.
2010.
Yes, 2010.
All right, so 2010, and now that you are in Valley View University, how is the atmosphere like then and now?
You know, over the years, things change.
Okay.
And over the years, people's perception change. When we were here, I got here 2006. I would say the numbers as we have it now are more than the numbers as we had it.
Really?
Those times, I believe.
Okay.
JJ Notte was at the what I prefer to call the original JJ Notte.
Okay.
You know where the basic school is, the men's new hall, which is now Bediakon, was coming up. The Naxter Hall was there, but we didn't have the E.J. White Hall, and of course we didn't have the new JJ Notte Hall that has been there. Those times it was more like a community. Everyone knew the other person. We were close. We took church life seriously.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing that whether the person was a Muslim, whatever it is, we were all involved in church. People loved to attend church, and I think church was a central part of the life on campus. And I think it did also a lot to help people. You know, myself particularly coming for AY meetings with Kojo and Sadu.
That's Mr. Kojo and Sadu.
Yes, around, and
Okay.
Dr. The one who has a doctorate in computer science now, Sapon.
Yeah, Dr. Sapon.
Yes, Kofi
Yeah,
Sapon.
Kofi
They were
Sapon.
all here, and I think they did a lot to nurture us. You know, you'd love to come for AY meetings, you'd love to come for all those fellowships, and they did a lot. The learning of hymns, there are a number of hymns I came to learn on this campus, and whenever I come to campus, you know, we gather together to ask the Lord's blessings. They did a lot for me, and Friday evenings when you're going by the J.A. Bully Hall, the singing groups will be in there rehearsing. You know the Sabbath is coming.
Yeah.
So it was a small community like that those times. It was not the best where you say that everyone fell in line, but it was quite an interesting place to be those
Okay.
times. Now, this thing with what we call the generational theory and the generational things and
Yeah.
the rest. I wouldn't say students are not as much dedicated as they were at then, but I would say there's some little difference.
What is that different thing that has changed?
I, I, I still belong to this generation,
Yeah.
as I say. For every student that is here, at best, I'm your elder brother. I can't be your father. So we belong pretty much to the same generation. But over the years, I would say that the seriousness people attach to things, is declining. I wouldn't say seriousness we attach to God. It's almost everything. The seriousness we attach to things are declining. And then there are so many distractions these days. There are so many things. Like, for example, there's TikTok, there's YouTube. So there are so many things. There are so many things that take us away from wanting to be with each other. So, for example, those times, maybe Sabbath evening, a person would want to come to church for fellowship. But these days, a person may want to be on TikTok, a person may want to be on YouTube, a person may want to engage somewhere else. So that thing has distracted us from some of the fundamental things of life. So I'll say, basically, that's what I see. We are not as committed to things, to ourselves, to our studies, to whatever it is. There's so much distraction in the world these days. And that gives off much difference, from those times and this time. That's what I may say.
All right, so talking from the experiences you've just shared, there is this assumption outside there that theology students, let me specify that it is theology students, not other departments. Theology students are going through much more of a hell when it comes to financing their education, when it comes to learning. You see them engaging in work study. Not to say work study is a bad thing, but you see the population in work study is quite high. In your days, what are some of the difficult challenges that the theology students normally face?
Yeah, I think work study has always been there. During my time, I did work study. I worked at a horticulture department. I say that the grasses at the bakery, that bakery area, the grasses know my name. We are the ones who planted those grasses. So a number of us did a number of things at the cafeteria, several places. People were working. If a person says that theology students face much challenge, well, I don't know the research the person has done, but it's true. A number of people who come to study theology don't have well-to-do backgrounds, don't have people who sponsor them, and a number of theology students have had to go through, sponsor themselves, working on campus, working outside, doing things. I think there could be some advantage to that. It toughens you up, it opens your eyes to the world. And as somebody who is going to take care of other people, you're going to listen to people. These things help you to understand other people. When they come before you, when they talk to you, when you are speaking to them, you can identify with people. So I think, yes, that is the case from back those days. People may not want me to mention their names. I would have mentioned the names of some of the big pastors that we know around and the things that they do. But it's amazing, right after school, God blesses. And sometimes you meet the person, you're like, is this that person or that's another person? How God changes our lives. It's good. It trains us. It builds us up. It toughens us. And I should say that a theology student should be a mature person. When I began ministry as a young person in a district, my district elder could very well be my grandfather. His age. Okay. You sit at meetings and come on, you are the youngest person there. Not just the youngest, but the most inexperienced person there. Because I came right after senior high school, and these elders have been there. They are working, they are doing things and all this. So they are quite mature.
Sure.
I've been telling the story of when I went to do national service in the Ashanti region, and it was during our time that national service, we began national service for theology students. So I was posted to an Adventist school, and I was supposed to help the district pastor to take care of the church in the school as well. So they gave me a room. I went to sleep in the room. Early morning, they came after morning service, and they came to knock the door, and then I came out. As soon as I came out, one elder said, Sofunini, is this the pastor? And the one who received me the previous evening said, yes. And said, so that my backup no crazy channel. You know, my son Kapna is older than he is. And it is true. So you're going to work with people like that. They are experienced when it comes to the world of work, experience when it comes to the church, experience in every way, especially if you were as I was when you came. So these things that we go through, you know, they toughen you up. And this week we may talk about it, the importance of pain.
Okay.
You know, pain is very good. I used to think pain was bad. Now I thank God for pain. You know, so it grows you, it grooms you, it matures you, so that you are able to see life as it is, appreciate life as it is, so that you can relate with older people. You know, and then you can also advise younger people, because you're going out, you are the same age with these people, but you are their leader and you are their advisor. So sometimes you need something to push you higher, to see things they can't see into realms, perspectives they have not seen yet, to be able to speak to them. So the Holy Spirit is there and all those things. But I believe the Holy Spirit also takes us through some of these things. I'm not saying it is good that a number of us are financially challenged, but what I'm saying is that there is a very good side of it, a very, very good side of it.
Thank you very much. In fact, it's a very nice submission. Pastor, I want you to be sincere with me on this particular question I'm about to ask you. And that is the question that almost all the students I went through, almost all the students I spoke to, this is the question they were asking. Pastor, which of the lecturers here troubled you? Back in your days here as a student, which of the lecturers troubled you that much? And you were quite furious.
Well, I want to say that's not a fair question. But, well, I wouldn't say any of the lecturers troubled me. Mm-hmm. But I would say that there were lecturers that some students found troublesome.
Okay.
But as we say, sometimes some of them were lecturers who were pushing you. Mm-hmm. For example, they will now give you an assignment and you don't know where the assignment comes from. You know, you don't know what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know, as I said, on hindsight, you understand certain things. Because some things that he was asking you are like, how do I get the information to this? But he's pushing you to step out there. You know, the books, the handouts that the lecturer gives you forms about maybe 30-40% of what you're supposed to study.
Yeah.
And most of us were just focused on that. So sometimes he gives you an assignment that throws you way off. You know, and that is what he's pushing you to do. But those times, of course, we didn't understand what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't understand that he was trying to tell us that if you are in level 100 at Valley View University studying theology, your classmates are not just the ones with whom you sit in the same class, but your classmate is everyone in the world in level 100 studying theology. Okay, all over the world. Those are your classmates. You know, so some of these lecturers that we find were troubling us, I think they were pushing us. Yeah. But Dona, people found him troubling. Professor Asaf was strict. You know, they taught us those things. We thought they were being too hard, but I think it was good. Professor Bechi.
The giant himself.
You know, Bechi can give you an assignment and you complain, then he will just smile and then add to the assignment. You know?
Yeah.
You know, but it was good. And truth be told, I'm not saying this because I've come back here, but there's a lot. Once again, you know, when you gain wisdom, you know, then you reflect over the experiences. Then you see how they have shaped you. You know, Bechi was free with everyone. You know, it was during our time, I think level 300 or so, that Prof. Beche and Bediakon and Professor Sebonsu came.
Okay.
You know, so a young doctor who had come, but he would talk to you like you were a colleague.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the things that impress on my mind. Sometimes he writes an example on the board, maybe theology students may identify with that, and you would give a certain example, and then he'll clean his and write yours on the board. You know, that spoke so much to me. This is a person who is after truth and not projecting himself. So you learn humility from there. You know, Professor Bediakon, those times, if you don't do well in exam, he'll be looking for you. You know, that personal touch. You know, Professor Sebunsu said something that for me was so great. You know, he said that the people that he envies the most are people who are humble. Because humility would open doors that certificates cannot open for you. And this was a man who at that time, fresh, had returned with his PhD. And then he's standing before you and saying that the thing that he values the most is not his PhD, but humility. You know, these things, they do some things to you. You may not realize them then. But over time, as you reflect over some of these things, you know, what really you've been able to glean out of them. So they left lasting impressions on us. Even those ones that we thought they were pushing us, yes, they were actually grooming us into what we need. All the lecturers that we came to meet here.
Yeah, speaking from Valley View University, as you rightly said, for me, I'm a student here. And so some of the experiences I've gone through here warrant that even when I complete, there is no need for me to even step my foot into this university again. People may have that perception that, oh, once I complete school, I would never step a foot near the gate. Do you still have memories of your days spent here in Valley View?
Yes, I do. Let me speak to that. Those who say that because of how I have been treated, I wouldn't step foot here again.
You see, you rightly said you go through pain. People go through pain. Yeah. And where there are two or more people, there is bound to be vices. Yeah. And so someone may encounter an awkward moment here on campus. And the person will be like, oh, I don't think I'll ever step my foot here again. Once I'm done with my degree or my master's, I'm gone. What do you make of that perception? And also, the moments shared here, can you recollect any?
Yeah, maybe let me begin from the first and then maybe remind me of the second. Valley View University is a beautiful place. It's a place unlike any other. Any other university in Ghana. It's a unique place. This is a school where you come and at a prayer meeting, you can hold the hands of the registrar or whoever it is and pray with the person. And sometimes because it is a Christian environment, because we come to church together, we sing together, we do things together. When you go to meet the person at the office, you expect the person to we behaved at church. And I want you to understand me excellently. Okay. You'd expect the person to extend that hand of fellowship and treat you better because we belong to the same community and all that. And I think some of the things that we complain about may not be necessarily that we are treated worse off here than other places. But it's like we expect better here. Yeah. You know, it's like it is wrong to expect better. Okay. I believe in better. Right. You know, the world becomes better because we are looking for best. So we should always be looking for better. What I'm saying is that what pains students the most, as I believe, is when we believe that we are in a Christian environment. You are a Christian, I'm a Christian. We come to church together, we study things together. So when I come to meet you at the office, you better than the person outside, you know, should extend professionalism, a hand of fellowship to me. So when it doesn't happen that way, it hurts more than if a person outside does it. I'm not saying you shouldn't expect that. I'm trying to understand some of the things that causes some of these things to happen. So you can be hurt. You can be hurt. And then when you are hurt, you could react to it as we do. That because this thing has happened to me, because that has Valley View, you've become a part of Valley View. Automatically. And Valley View is a family. You know, so to paint, it was Professor Ibiam Ponsan who said that the pot that boils over dirties itself. You know, you've become a part of the school. So when you go sell the school bad outside there, it's your certificate you are selling bad outside there. And we have to understand that. Don't you understand what I'm saying? Yes, it's true.
That's correct.
Okay, you are in the school, you are going out with the certificate of the school, and then you are saying all things about the school. That is not good enough. That is not maturity. Okay. You know, we help to solve issues within. But then we don't take those issues aside. But sometimes you have to taste some things that happen in some of the public universities to appreciate some things that are happening here. This is not heaven. There are things we have to correct here.
Yeah.
But sometimes things are not as bad as we think
That's it.
they are. Recounting memories, I've shared some of them, both in church. It was during our time that we divided the worship service into the centers. I would
Okay.
say Professor John Appiah was my church pastor, with Dr. Stella. We had, just as we have it now, Philadelphia, Macedonia, New Jerusalem, and then Bethel. It was a nice experience. Each church was unique in its own way. Worship was exciting on campus. Academics was good. You know, I think Valley View gives pressure, doesn't it? Yeah, academically, Valley View gives pressure, which is also good. You know, it is good because it pushes you to your limits.
Yeah.
Go through it. You know, it pushes you to your limits. It opens some energies within you that you never knew existed.
Yeah.
You know, submit yourself to the process. Submit yourself to the process, and it will create a person. You know, it will bring out a person in you that you never knew lived in you. So I think academics is good. Lecturing, how it goes, relationship. I still think relationship between students and lecturers is quite good. Isn't it?
I'll leave that for the students and the audience. Yeah.
is still quite good. So academics was good. Social life was good. I think theology students especially should be interacting more with the other students, with the community. I think those who are close to me, sometimes I tell them about it. Interact more with the community, interact more with other students and all that. So I think it's good.
Okay. Yeah, I want us to center now on your ministry. You are a pastor.
Yes, I am.
You are a chaplain.
Yes, I am.
Have you ever been to the field before? As in churching, being a church pastor somewhere.
Good. I particularly have a problem when people say the field.
Okay.
You know,
where is the field? Here is
where
the
is
field.
here?
Yes,
You
yes,
know?
yes. So
Yes.
have you ever been a church pastor?
Yeah. So I've been a district pastor for 3 years. I've been a district pastor for 3 years.
Okay.
I began from a village called New Longro. You know, that's where I began from.
Where again?
New Longoro.
Okay.
Yeah. Bamboy was one of the towns that I pastored, you know,
All right.
and you know, we call them the Deg. People call them the Mo, but the real name is Deg. Among the Deg people, that's where I began my ministry, and I was there for 3 years until I received a call to join Valley View University at the Techiman campus to assist then Chaplain Pio Mensah, who was the chaplain of the campus. So I assisted Pastor Pio as his associate at the campus. I assisted Pastor Alexander Japon. I worked with him. Pastor Obing Manu, who is now the campus chaplain, I worked with him as well until I became chaplain for the campus. During that time also, I was also assisting in teaching the religious courses. And at the same time, I also chaplained the Valley View Adventist Hospital for about a period of 3 years. So, yes, I was in the district for 3 years before I was moved to campus.
All right. So, being a church pastor and now being a chaplain, which is more stressful?
Well, I think your question is subjective, that is to me.
Yes.
Objectively, it will be difficult to say that this one is more stressful than the other. Each has their challenges. I think it depends on where you believe your strength and your interest lie. There are some things that could be difficult, but then when you have the interest and the calling for it, you would find it a lot easier than the other. So each have their own uniqueness. None is more difficult than the other. If you are in the district, you know, it has its own, you know, district meetings, your elders, conference duties, and all those things. When you are with young people is also a whole different thing altogether. Working with the institution, working with the young people, working with others. So they have their uniqueness. I wouldn't say one is more difficult than the other. It depends on which a person is called to. And you've not asked this, but if somebody is a theology student and the person is listening, um, when you believe you are called by God, if you are called by God, you should ask God where He has called you to.
Okay.
You know, you should ask God where He has called you to. Now, you can be successful where God has called you to. So that has to be established. If you are not careful, yes, you believe God has called you. You don't ask where He has called you to, and then you go just anywhere. You know, as God called Samuel, and then he went to the priest. So each has its uniqueness, each has its difficulty, but then you find it easier where you truly are called to minister.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you have found your strength, and you are relying on your strength. Where God has called you to, that is where you are relying on. Basically, that is so, if I'm right.
Yes, I believe that I have a calling in what I'm doing.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I know everywhere God is leading me, but I can say I'm contented with what I'm doing now, and what I've been doing for the past 8 to 9 years, campus ministry. I would say that I'm contented with it, and I believe that I have a calling in it.
Okay. So switching from a church pastor to that of a chaplain, looking at these two things, why did you switch from a church pastor to be a chaplain?
So when I received the call to join campus ministry, I could have declined.
Okay.
So I think the question is, why did I accept it?
Okay.
As I said, I accepted it because I saw that I have, at that time at least, a better connection with campus.
Okay.
I had a better connection with campus. I felt there was something in me that could help my generation, people my age, on campuses. I saw clearly that at that time, that is what God was calling me to, and leading me to. Right all through the years in the district, I was still searching and I was still praying. And I think that that thing came at the right time. That at that time, God needed me to be there, both to as I minister and also as He forms me into what He wants me to do. Because as you minister, you are also being fashioned. So there's a lot I've learned, and I believe at that time it was the right decision that I took.
Okay. So in all your endeavor, as in your ministry, what is this thing that normally push you to do more? What normally push you to go the extra mile in the course of your ministry?
I care deeply about people.
Okay.
I would say that I believe I'm a pastor because I care deeply about people. I care deeply that people become the best of themselves. And it is something that is personal for me, that people's lives are transformed. And when I say people's lives are transformed in every sense, you know, in every sense, that thing is personal to me. What pushes me and what keeps me going is that I want to be able to touch people's lives and make the world a better place because I was born.
Yeah.
You know, the world should become a better place because I was born. When I study, when I do any form of research, whatever it is that I do, I'm constantly looking for ways to make myself better.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
To serve humanity. That's what I believe I've been called for, and that has been my passion. So basically, at the core, that is what it is. So I ask what I can do to make somebody a better person, what I can add to somebody's life, and that is the core of my ministry.
I understand. I get you. I want us to center on this particular week of spiritual emphasis here in Valley View. But I want you to give me an overall view, what do you make of week of spiritual emphasis as in a whole? What do you make of that?
So as humans, one thing that we need to actualize is a spiritual connection. Let's say it's a connection to our source.
Okay.
A connection to God. And that is what we've lost. That is why things are as they are, the world around us. So there is a need for that spiritual touch, that connection with God, which is real and true. I'm not talking about religion. Let's put all those ones aside. And let's talk in truth. We are made by God. We are powered by God. We are made to live on God. And we become the best of ourselves when we are connected to God. This is fact. This is not spirit thing in the air. This is truth. Okay. And I think that's what Valley View University is offering. Training accountants, training nurses, training people in communication, training people in whatever it is. With that connection with God, from whence alone they'll be able to do what it is that they do. So week of spiritual emphasis is a time when we emphasize this angle, this foundation. So throughout the semester, we go to church, we do that. But during the week of spiritual emphasis, we bring our minds particularly to this thing. This is the source. This is what it is about. So for me, it's so much important on the academic calendar that we come together as a university community and find our roots once again. Dig deeper into our roots so that we draw the energy that would help us to become nurses, better whatever it is.
That's correct.
That
yes. We are getting to the end of the program, but I want us to still focus here on this particular week. When you were called to be the speaker for this week-long program, what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on it? Did it take you by surprise, or you were anticipating it? What were your thoughts?
Well, I didn't know. I knew there was a possibility. I didn't know I'll be doing that at this time. But I should also say that I'm always prepared to share. This is what I've been called to, and this is what I've accepted to do. So I'm ready to accept any call to speak the word of God. To speak in a way that would change people's lives, that would draw people's minds to reality, to the basics of life where they can build themselves. It's always an honor when I receive such an opportunity to do that. So I would say that, well, I didn't know it would be coming. I wouldn't say I was surprised. I was actually excited.
We thank God. And we are much happy to have you speak to us. In fact, like I said early on, today has been very, very powerful. And indeed, it has influenced so many lives. Pastor, your best bet. I'm still thinking through the whole caption, the theme for the week of the spiritual emphasis. Your best bet. How did you come up with this caption? What are you trying to put across?
When we are born and we are going through life, we don't know anything for sure. You could have been born as a Christian, as a Muslim, whatever it is. You don't know things for sure. For example, if you are born as a Christian, you may have been taken to church, either Sunday school, children's Sabbath school, whatever it is. You are told Jesus is this, that is that. If you're raised as a Muslim, you are told those things. And these are philosophies of life. These are ways of life. If you want to be successful, this is how life should be lived. If you want to be successful, this is the way to go. So we have all these things open to us. And then in our age, the internet age, there is lots of information out there calling you, this is the way, that is the way, that is the way. You don't know for sure. But we need light to guide our feet. So whichever it is that you are picking, you are more or less betting. Whichever it is that you are picking. But then throughout life, as we tried to do today, let's put what each one is saying aside. African traditional religion, let's put it here. Islam, let's put it here. Buddhism, let's put it here. Christianity, let's put it here. Hindu, let's put all those ones there.
Okay.
Which one of them has changed the world? Which one has changed the world?
Yeah.
You know, if I don't know anything at all, if I don't know anything at all, I don't know whether there's God, I don't know whether Muhammad, I don't know anything. You know, but looking at the history of humanity,
Yeah.
which one has changed the world? Which one has impacted the world? Which one should you follow? Okay, so that is what it is. You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, and as we will talk about this week, not making a choice is actually making a choice. Okay, so you have to make a choice. You can't run away from it. But which one would more probably lead you where you have to get to? So this week, your best bet, which should you put your life on? Which should you put your neck on?
Okay.
Which should you put your time on? Which should you put your resources on? Which will get you where you have to be? You know, and so your best bet. And so it is not the best bet, you know, but it is yours best bet. And that's why I said, and I mean it in every sense, that this week is about you. It's not about Jesus. Once again, as radical as that may sound, you know, some pastors may not be happy that you say it's not about Jesus. It should be about Jesus. Yes, I understand. I'm saying it is about you.
Yes.
It's not about Jesus, because you are the one who is making the choice. It begins with you. You have all these things before you. Which one should I pick?
Okay.
That is what it's about.
All right. Pastor, simply put, what is your kind of books, like the kind of books you read?
Yeah, I need you to ask me this. It's difficult for me to say. I would say that I read people more than books.
Hearts, Kotoko. Which one do you choose?
Charlie, I'm not a football person. I'm not a football person. You know, I intentionally killed my interest in football.
All right.
That was something personal. You know, I didn't want too many distractions.
Okay.
So when they are playing football, and I would intentionally walk out. Yeah, you know, I was getting drawn to Chelsea those days. I was getting drawn to Chelsea. So I intentionally distanced myself from it. I didn't want to be addicted.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I didn't want to be like, whatever you're doing, like this team is playing, I have to go and watch. You know, I didn't want that thing to build in me. Yeah. So when it comes to football, I don't really. I used to support the Ghana Black
But
Stars.
here, when I put Ghana and then let's say South Africa, you should have an option here. Ghana versus South Africa. Pastor, which are you choosing?
Ghana, South Africa.
Yes. Let's say there is a football match between Ghana and South Africa. Of course, Ghana first.
Yeah.
It's not an answer anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just suggesting to you. So, Pastor, what do you make of it?
For patriotic reasons, I'll choose Ghana.
Happily. All right.
For other reasons, I may not choose Ghana, but for patriotic reasons, I'll choose Ghana.
I understand. Okay. We are getting to the end. Of course, I'll give some room for two people in our audience, the audience to ask questions, and then let's see how they are also putting in their effort. But before then, I would love to ask you once again, what should students be expecting, particularly this week? I know you are a chaplain here. You will contribute to the changes here we have on campus. But for this particular week, what should students and your audience across the board, Hope Channel is live, Facebook and YouTube, what should they expect from you?
All right, thank you very much. Once again, before I began today, I said that I'm not here to preach. Yeah. And so far as I'm concerned, I believe that. I believe I'm not here to preach, and I'm serious about that. I'm here to reflect on life, to reflect on the realities of life. So everyone should expect, by the grace of God, messages that are relatable. Today, what we did was a little...
we were massaging the topics for them.
If you like.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, the rest of the messages are going to be very, very personal.
Okay.
And very, very relatable.
All right.
You know, and therefore people would be able to relate with the messages.
Okay.
Live the messages. Live here every morning, every evening, having been spoken to personally.
Okay.
And having been called on to make certain decisions. in their lives.
Yeah.
Ultimately, to choose the path that leads to victory.
Pastor, thank you very much. And to our audience, it has been a very nice time with Pastor Kusi Appiah, a very nice gentleman who happens to be associate chaplain here in Valley View University. We are getting to the end of the program. But before then, I would love to give an opportunity to our audience and everyone. If there is any question that you would love to ask Pastor, please, you can do so. So then we bring the program to a halt. 2 questions will do. 2 questions will do. 2. So I'm starting from the middle. All right. So, Pastor, please kindly come forward. We'll hand over a microphone to you so you speak. Okay, I'll take 3. Please, let's be brief enough. Let's be very, very brief. And Pastor will be brief with us. Okay. Speak with you. Yes. Yes. Okay, so whilst you are asking the questions, please wait with us. Whilst you are asking the questions, I want us all to understand that Pastor is here for good, and anybody who wants to speak to Pastor on one-on-one basis, he's here for counseling, any other thing. If you want to have an encounter with Pastor, he's ever available. He is the church pastor of Philadelphia Church here on Valley View University campus. If you are far away from us and you want to get in touch with him, you can equally do so. You can send a message or put up a comment, and then we'll respond to it for you. So we'll take our first question. Please, your name and the question.
My name is Efa Kosa. I want Pastor to tell us more about his background in research, what his research interest is, especially after leaving Valley View. If you can tell us about that area, I'll be happy. I enjoyed this morning's sermon, and maybe it relates to his background. I want to understand more about it.
All right. Next question, please. Next question. All right. Yes, please, your name and then the question.
All right.
Kindly on the microphone. Yeah. Okay, speak.
Yeah. Pastor, I've been on campus for a while.
Okay.
And I've observed Pastor. And there is one thing that I like about him, and I want to ask whether it's a learned ability or it is something that is natural. Whenever Pastor comes around, he smiles with everybody, and in every situation, he smiles. And I want to ask that, was it something natural or it is a learned ability? And in either case, how will he advise us on social matters? Because it is something I really am attracted to, if you can help us.
Thank you very much. We'll take the very last question. And Pastor, you have to massage all for us. So, the next question, please. Yes. Your name, and then you continue with the question.
William Skobinamafu, but I have something to add up to the hardships concerning the issue.
Let's be brief enough,
yeah,
your question.
I came on board concerning the theology student, and I'm asking if I can have the opportunity.
Come again.
Okay, I want to add up to the issue that came on board concerning the theology hardships, So I'm just want to ask if I can have that opportunity.
If you can have that same opportunity.
Yeah. No, to talk about that.
Okay. I'm not really getting your question, though, but if Pastor gets it, he's the one going to answer. So, Pastor, do you get the question?
Okay, I'm saying that concerning the hardships, that the theology students are going through, and I'm asking if I can have an opportunity to talk about that.
If you can have an opportunity to talk about
question?
That. Okay, that will be a one-on-one conversation with Pastor after the whole program. So, Pastor will kindly answer the question.
After here, we can talk more.
Yes, you can talk
but if
to
you
Pastor.
have a question.
Yeah, okay, then let me drop it.
All right, so Pastor is going to answer the 2 questions, and then we continue. Pastor, what do you make of the questions that have been asked?
Yeah, I think already I was asking of my research interest. As I said, my ultimate interest has been making the human a better person to live in society. Making the human a better person to live in society. So everything that I research around centers around this. Um, when I talk about Christianity, as I spoke about, I see Christianity through the eye of the need of man.
Okay.
So how it makes humans better. So my research has centered around the human in society. The human in society, how the human can live the best of their lives within the society,
Okay.
or create a better society for themselves, community
right.
for ourselves.
Okay.
Our brother Kofi was asking about that. Did you hear it well?
Yeah, the gentleman did ask about how you move on campus, how you smile and all that. How do you do it? And
Yeah, whether it's a learned ability or
yeah.
I don't know, but I learned one person who has had great impact on my life is Professor Osebonsu.
Okay.
And one thing that I learned of him was to have personal interest in people. Yeah, to have personal interest in people. So, an interest in a person.
Yeah.
So, I'm not an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert, but I try to have interest in people. So, if I greet people, if I smile at people, it is genuine.
Okay.
It's not acting out, trying to make people feel no. It's genuine. So having interest in the person who is close to you. So that's what I would say. And I think it's a good thing to have interest in your environment, to have interest in the people around you. Once again, it is tied into helping to make people better humans.
All right.
Yeah.
Pastor, God bless you so much.
God bless you.
It has been a very fulfillment time with you. In fact, we really understand who you are now. And then moving forward, we believe that with one accord, we can do that which heaven demands, and we'll help you to do exploits.
Amen.
It is our prayer that as you come here, you influence your change, and then things will go well. Viewers, we've been listening to Pastor Kusi Appiah. He happens to be the Associate Chaplain of Valley View University, and he is running a week-long program that is Week of Spiritual Emphasis. And his theme, or the theme for which we are going to reflect on, is your best bet. Your best bet. I will entreat everyone to join us on Facebook Live, Hope Channel TV, and YouTube. As we listen, God will pave way in our lives, and He will bless us accordingly. Thank you so much. My name is Bernard Chachu Onyame.